Wondering how your mindset affects your life? How to bring more energy into your business and life? Millions of people around the world ask these same questions daily. You are in the right place. Learn practices that will help give your life the meaning and success you've been searching for. Welcome to the Charge Podcast, teaching you how to create habits around real goals every day. Practical life advice from those who made it. Here's your host, Gary Wilbers.
Welcome to the month of March. It is already the third month of the year. Remember the goals you set out for yourself at the beginning of the year? Are you still committed to achieving them like you were on January 1st? Remember, goals are like having your headlights on, but you have to take action to accomplish them. We are sharing in the month of March some great guests on the Charge Podcast. Our guests this month share their expertise on how to be a giver in your life, learn how to create revenue from e-commerce business, strategies to communicate with your clients, and why living into your passion is so important to living your best life. If you're feeling frustrated and stressed out with your professional and personal life, I know in each of these podcasts, the strategies that each guest shares can propel you to live a charged life in 2021. Chargers are committed to finding how each day they can make their life better by the willingness to learn, grow, and become the person they were meant to be. In my recently published book, Cultivate Positive Culture, 10 Actions to Faithful Living, I shared this quote: "Give yourself permission to charge each day to become the person you were meant to be." You've made a great choice in listening to this podcast. Remember, the podcast is named Charge after my mantra: create habits around real goals every day. Let's get recharged in this podcast to influence a positive culture so you can take simple positive actions each day. Are you ready? Welcome, Chargers. We're glad to have you back. Can you believe it's 2021? We are making the differences and charging to really accomplish what we want. Some people said, well, we had to just write 2020 off. Well, that may be the case, but the thing is, you have to start today to move forward. And today, I've got a person that has done just that, Tyler Sullivan. He is the founder of Bomb Tech Golf and an e-commerce store with over 15 million sold online since 2012. Tyler also runs Ecom Growers, where he and his team have helped countless Shopify owners add 6 to 7 figures in additional sales to their e-commerce stores by optimizing email systems and ad campaigns to find hidden revenue streams. Over the years, Tyler has come to learn the formula for running a successful and profitable e-commerce business. He believes that even with online companies, there is a huge value in having real conversations with customers and potential buyers. Tyler is hyper-focused on the customer experience and operating a lean business that doesn't just drive revenue, but drives serious profit and cash flow. Well, that's a great topic for us to talk to this year because we all want to drive profits and what we can do in those areas. But before we get there, Tyler, number one, first, welcome to the Charge Podcast. Glad to have you on board.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Well, I always have a mantra I start with, or a motto: charge, create habits around real goals every day. And it's the name of the podcast. Can you share with me maybe the habit that you think has led to success in your life?
Delegating. I mean, that's really like my expertise is none. So really, I think my only habit is the ability to find people better than myself and then having them execute. So the thing I do that would be like out the gate actionable things someone can do is I try to vet whatever area I'm trying to find someone better, whether it's ads, shipping, email, whatever that area is, and I'll actually do like a 1-hour screen share with them, and I'll pay for their time. And that allows me to do two things: learn something, hopefully, in that hour, and vet them. So I did that with my ads person. And what it's done is when I do these 1-hour sessions, I learn more. I know enough about whatever industry I'm trying to get into or whatever I'm trying to do. And it took me 12 of them to find my current ad guy. But that's really what I try to do, is just delegate and find people better and have a system around that.
Yeah. Well, you've created a great system and created a business model that really works. And that's the thing. Too many people think they have to be the smartest person in the room. Really, you just got to have smart people in the room to be able to help you achieve the objectives that you're trying. So that's wonderful. Thanks for sharing that.
Exactly.
Hey, everyone starts with a story. And of course, I read your bio, read some information, checked out your website, and you've kind of got an interesting story there. Could kind of share with me how you got into business and got into this e-commerce and then developing a golf club and now multiple clubs with that. Share with us how you got that started.
Yeah, so I'm an accidental entrepreneur. I mean, now we're doing almost 8 figures a year. And I've got 2 employees, and I never would have dreamt this, like 100%. I was attempting to be the world's longest driver of the golf ball. I was doing home run derby of golf about, almost 10 years ago. And in my quest, I was probably the world's worst long driver. But my claim to fame is a 360-yard drive in a competition, which it sounds cool, but it's not that good. But in that quest, I started actually breaking golf clubs. Literally, like I'd go to a competition, and it was from pure power, which I wish it was, but it was from a local club builder's inability to assemble a club properly. So I had heads flying off, shafts breaking. I just started building my own out of necessity. And then my buddy who I played golf with was like, "Hey, can you make me a driver?" I was like, "Sure." He's like, "How much?" I was like, I don't even know. And I threw a number out. He bought one. So that was my first epiphany. I was like, okay, that's cool. Let me do more of that. Then I made the world's worst website, literally sold nothing off in 6 months. But then I was on my boat, and I joke, it's not a yacht. It was my little boat I had on the lake here in Lake Champlain with my wife. And I got an email come in, and it was a sale. And I was like, wait a second. So I'm not in front of my computer working, but I just made money. So that was my second epiphany. I was like, holy crap, I want to do more of that. So then I had another sale, and it's slow. Like it was slow. I was not a quick study by any means. But I started building it up, and all I did really, I had the third epiphany, and I've had a lot of these, as you'll find out, but I wanted to make my own brand or design, right? And again, I'm not that smart. So my buddy from college, a frat brother of mine, Ben Barone, good buddy, he always gives me crap because I don't give him a shout out for this, but I will today. So I was just talking on the phone. I was like, yo, dude, I want to make my own brand of drivers. He's like, well, there's no way you're going to do it. Why don't you call UVM, which is 10 minutes from our house where I went to school. It took me 5 years to graduate. I did graduate, though. And I worked with a group of students, engineering students, seniors, and we designed our own driver. And I really took a lot of risk. But I just documented that journey in 2012, 13, and built up a following. So I had an audience that was like captive and felt like they built the brand as I did it. And I had no intention of selling, like making this a business or, 20xing my income with this company or have any future vision. I just liked it and was passionate about it and wanted to make a cool product. And really Facebook and documenting that story just allowed me to grow and scale. And all I did was engage. Like I really went obsessive with this. Like I posted one video when video first came out, not to date myself, and I boosted it for $300, and I got 300,000 views, 10,000 comments, and I went through every comment till my thumbs were bleeding. And that was like how it all started. It was me doing a lot of the wrong stuff, and some of the right, and then scaling and getting out of my own way as time went on. But then I just was able to take that engagement, my story and great product and scale it up to a point where we do 6 to 9 million, depending on the year. On a low year, we do 4 to 6 with 2 employees. And from that, I've got another company now because I don't work a lot in either company, which is nice. I do work, but I work on stuff I like podcasts. So that's a quick overview of like my journey. And now it's the agency I run, Ecom Growers, is a whole different beast. And now I'm learning and trying to find experts in that because it's a people business. And we've got 30 clients. And it's really exciting. So life is good, considering the world, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. Well, and I think there's so many lessons built into that for people to realize that it doesn't happen overnight. And there's so
Absolutely.
many iterations that go through a business when you get started, and really in life in general. Some of my people that listen, chargers, they really don't want to start their business, and that's fine if they're working for someone else, but they can find the area that they're passionate about and that the purpose that they want to have there. I have to ask this so I don't forget later, because of course I love golf. I don't play a whole lot, but I have a golf partner, Keith, and I'm very active with Special Olympics, and we
Nice.
play unified golf together.
Cool.
And one of the challenges I have, he hits the ball consistently about 150 yards, but he's straight normally. My
Yeah.
challenge is I may hit it 250 yards, but it's always in the woods. And
Yeah.
I think you said on your driver, it helps that average golfer
Yeah.
hit better. So can it really help someone like me?
Totally. I mean, so like when I started the company, I was making really niche products, and we really found that our audience is the regular guy, the guy that's not playing on tour. He's not, he's not trying to break par. He's just trying to have fun and hit fairways. So all of our clubs are really designed to be more forgiving, easier to hit. And that's why people keep coming back, because they're able to, break their personal records, which may not be par, it may just be breaking 100, right? And like, it's pretty exciting. Like, I've got a buddy of mine I play with who, is not like he'd been golfing his whole life. He's newer to golf. And to see him play our clubs and lose less golf balls, like that alone is just a huge step forward. So really, that's our claim to fame is, we make clubs that are easy to hit, but we're also not breaking the bank. So they're not clubs that are $600 for one club. You know what I mean? So that's then the direct consumer piece of it. And I'm just so fortunate with that business, and truly thankful for every customer and repeat customer, and just try to make sure whatever I do, I truly thank them and they know it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and the key is you found that niche, and that's where we're going to learn from you today, is kind of how you took your e-com brand and moved it forward. So kind of let's go into that area with e-commerce, because people are buying online. Of course, back in 2012, it was not what it is today in 2021. But how did you kind of grow that e-com brand? You talked a little bit about that. When we say e-com, just remember I'm talking about e-commerce, what you're buying online, for the people that maybe are wondering, what are you talking about? We're getting more and more used to that. But you started back when it was not common practice.
Totally. Yeah. I started when it wasn't, it was harder to make a website. The technology just wasn't there. The whole process was, far more difficult. So I remember I had like a website designer on staff that I'd pay on retainer just to make edits. And it was crazy. So it's easier to make a website now. It's easier to sell online now. And people are fast forward, like with, what happened in the last couple of years with COVID and stuff this last year, e-commerce fast forwarded 15 years, because I've been saying we're a direct consumer, 100% online, no retail for a while. And I wouldn't say I'm waiting for this moment, but it's made it even easier. But really, my tactics and strategies are very simple. Like I believe you really, and e-commerce is not that complicated. Number one, you have to have a good product, right? You have to have a good product and store. If you don't have that, don't start, right? If you have those, and again, I work with mostly e-com brands doing at least 7 figures minimum. So like starting out, I haven't started in a long time, but really it's a function of traffic. Facebook ads, Google ads, Instagram ads, search, whatever your traffic source is, you need to be able to do that profitably. And then really it's the back end, which is email, SMS, and just that's your only asset, right? So when I look at it, overall, I've got one strategy, and that's to have two-way conversations, authentic ones like we're having with my ideal client. So if you're doing that, because before 5 years ago, when Facebook first launched like ads, or 3 years ago, I can't remember now. Like 2013, I was like, you could throw up a really bad ad, bad product, or not bad product, and sell it. Now people want out of social engagement. So really, we just try to have engaging conversations on the channels we care about and our customers care, which is Facebook, Instagram, and then email, which is revenue. So Facebook is engagement, Instagram's engagement, and then email is our revenue channel. So like, I always say this is my best example. So like, if Facebook ads and Google ads stop tomorrow, could you sell all your inventory? And most people would say no. Whereas my email list drives 50% of my revenue from email, because I have real conversations with them at scale. And I think this can apply to any business. So if you're building an email list, That's your only asset, whether you sell a company, whether ads stop, like that's what you own. So treat it like that, and don't treat it like let's send over another promotion and hope we get paid and another promotion, and then you kill your list, right? And that's so easy to do. So really, like, it's so simple. People try to complicate it, but traffic and then email. If you can do those things, have a conversation, you can build really any business on a basic level. Then there's strategies and tactics within that framework,
Well, one piece that I think really sticks out to me that you talk about is you have a conversation. So many people that's in traditional sales, maybe they have a retail storefront, maybe they have a business now that they're going, to the business to be able to market their product. So you have outside sales, but they're having those conversations. You said the exact same thing. The only difference is you're having it via email and other ways and through your ads to be able to connect with them, to be able to gather that information. And you said email, it's one of the things there. So one of the things I want to really stress, because some people may say, well, I don't have an e-commerce business, so this doesn't apply to me. So there's the first thing that I would tell you is still listen, because what you're sharing with us is the same thing. Number one, it is 2021, and it is time that you realize that you can sell from the internet and your customers want that convenience. So if you think everything is sold by you going out to it or them coming to your store, number one, let's be honest, let's get into the new 20th century and let's realize that this internet thing's not going away. And like you said, last year heightened that tremendously. So one of the challenges I think people have where they think with e-commerce, of course, one of the things they have to do is they have to drive revenue some. And that's through those ads. And I know you're doing this with your new company to really help people learn how to do that. And I don't want you to give away all the secrets, but I want you to give us some of them at least. But
Sure.
Probably the question is, how do you make those ads profitable? Because people can't put out just anything. Nowadays, there is competition in the marketplace.
Yeah, so my agency only does email, just to be clear.
Okay.
We do email marketing, but yeah, I can talk about ads. I mean, so again, it's those two things. You need both. You need paid traffic, which I look at as Facebook, Google Ads, depending on your industry. And then you need the email to do the offers and all of that. But really, like for ads, for us, it's pretty simple. Is it an engaging piece of content? So like, will it stop the scroll? You know what I mean? Because everyone is just scrolling all day, looking for whatever catches their attention. Do you have a scroll stop where people are like, oh, that's cool? So can you get their attention, which is probably the hardest thing to do now because more people are selling online and, it's becoming easier to do. So there is more competition. Do a scroll stop. Once you get their attention, if you're lucky enough to do so, is your offer appealing enough to convert them? And then third, trust has always been our biggest hurdle because like there's major brands and competitors that have been around much longer than me. It will be true in almost any space, really. And how do you get through that trust? So for me, we've got 10,000 plus 5-star reviews. We have some, we really leverage user-generated content and their reviews and real testimonials versus me, although you will see me on video, and that's the last thing I'll talk about. You want the users, and then you want a person attached to the brand. And really, we use this most effectively through the email channel as well as ads. But you'll see me on video, and these videos, I'm always like, I cringe at them now. It's like they're always the lowest production quality ones that work the best. Yeah. It's the one where I'm like, I didn't sleep well. My hair's not done. I do a selfie video. I'm like, yo, what's up? We got this new club launching. And I just talk about it that do better versus like these polished professional videos. And we leverage that personality, which is every brand has it or should have it. And we do it in email, so every email comes from me. So it's from my signature. And that's the first thing when we bring on a client, e-commerce client to our e-com growers agency is we attach a founder to the sending of email. Because that's the big disconnect. Online, yes, people are buying. At scale, that would never happen. I can do it, you can do it. But what we've done well for us and clients is we attach a person. Because people, no matter what, buy from people. And that's what you almost are emulating digitally that you used to get in retail and in person. So that's you're building relationships, and the easiest way we found to do it. And we have other strategies and tactics, like we do post-purchase thank you cards written for me, post-purchase thank you voicemails for me, different things they feel like they're coming from me. We've got retargeting video ads that I say thank you for my order. And I also do put out effort to be the brand too. But that's been the true key, is people, they feel like they can buy from me as a person. And that was an accident. I put myself on camera because I had to, and then people related to me as a regular guy. Because I'm not a pro. I'm not a pro golfer. I'm just a regular guy living life, and never have been like above anyone, because I'm not. I'm just a regular person. Have had some success, but people can relate to me, and that's been the key. The key driver outside of those other aspects you need is get that person to go to amplify what's already working.
Well, and you really talked about a couple key things. Number one is, being the brand and being authentic is what you are. I can tell that because we're on video. They're going to hear the audio of this, but you can tell that you're authentic. So, that comes across in your videos. Don't try to be somebody that you're not. And
True.
then just really the marketing is really realizing that you have to try different strategies. One thing I have to come back to, because I think this is one, again, I go back because some of my clients, I do business coaching, and they're in the traditional businesses and they're still struggling with it. And I'm working with several clients now. I've told them that we've got to build your database, your email database. And you've talked about how important that is. And it drives, I think you said 50% of your revenue through email. Yep. Can you share with us? I know the strategies is very similar. What you said, have those conversations with them, but too many people think email that I'm bugging them. And I'll give you an example. I just had an email go out yesterday on a product that I'm marketing, and there's an email sitting in my inbox saying, yes, they're interested in what I'm offering. They need some more details, but it's exactly what I wanted at that point. And I know you can sell from email too. So can you kind of share a few strategies there and why email is so important? And then you talked about it earlier. It becomes your own database versus if you're out there on Google ads or Facebook ads, that traffic stops, your business is done.
Yeah, it's the only asset you own, and that's the biggest mind shift. I had to take, because we had a moment in time where Facebook wasn't crushing, Google, a couple of offers weren't doing well. I was like, well, how do we drive revenue? And we really leveraged and leaned into email a lot more. So it's funny you say it, everyone thinks they are sending too much email and it annoys their clients or customers or non-customers, right? That's if you're doing it wrong. Right. So email is not dead. Email is still the number one revenue driver and asset. We do SMS as well, which is definitely a add-on. It's not a replacement. It's an add-on asset. But that is one of those controlling, limiting belief thoughts as an owner, because you want to control your brand. You don't want to upset customers. But if you're sending emails that are engaging, that people want to hear, they're going to open, read it, and engage and go right back. And honestly, the people that say, you will get emails that people are like, I don't want this, get me off the list. They're not your ideal customer. Let them go. Let them unsubscribe. It's okay. And it's funny, I had this conversation with my parents who used to own a diner, more traditional type of business, unlike mine. I said, dude, you got to get an email list going. And it's so hard for them because they're physical and everything they do is tangible, location-based people. So the online is so secondary or not relevant. But I had them do a giveaway of Patriots tickets, the football team, to get emails. And they did that. And they got 500 emails. I said, just send out a promo. I don't care what it is. Or even just say, hey, how you guys doing? Just so you know, we're open Friday night, or hey, we got this coffee deal, or whatever you want to do, have a conversation and sign it from yourself. And then guess what? They had their biggest Friday night ever. And I was like, it doesn't even have to be crazy. And we get so we overcomplicate what works and what's simple. For email, for us, it's email does not work when you overly design an HTML email with 50 different calls to action. A lot of our emails we send are plain text. It says, hey, what was your best round this year? Sully. That's it. It's like, people are like, what do you mean that's it? Well, now I just got 10,000 replies. And now everyone moved from, guess where? Promotions tab, where they don't see your email, to the inbox. So there's all these little tactics. Is if you have the overall strategy of just saying, okay, email's worth doing, let me have a conversation, and then ask real questions your business wants to know the answer to. Like, I don't know your exact clientele, but you could ask them, like, what do they want from coaching? What's their business? What do they like? I'm sure there's certain questions you want to know to make your offer maybe better, different, have an add-on mastermind. I don't know, that you would want to know, and you get great insight. So like, we've got a new product launching, not to go too deep, but this is a good example. And I don't know what to call it. It's a gold wedge. It's going to be really, I think, successful. But I'll ask them, hey guys, what do you want to name it? So when we launch it, they're going to feel like they were part of it. And that's when it's like next level, where they feel like they're part of the brand. You know what I mean? And you can do this and keep going and get to a point where it's like they truly feel like we have a relationship, and I feel like we do. And that can be done in restaurants. It's just retail, any business. It's just the fact that I think it comes down to time, effort, and one of those things where you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. But right now, email is still one of those things. SMS is a nice add-on, and you can do the same things, but it's not a replacement. So
yeah. Well, great answer. And I just love the concept. And I think one that people need to hear is it's okay to get people that opt out.
Oh, you want it.
It's actually beneficial. I mean, I had the hardest time with that early on, and then read, and just with the training and things that I've researched with email, it's like, okay. And, for a while, my wife is in the business, and she would come and say, oh, we had these 3 people opt out when we sent that email. It's like, great. They weren't our target market. Now let's keep the ones we've got. And, you think you're sending too much, like you said. Your customers will tell you what's right. And that's the key there. And it really needs to become a component of that business, especially now that we're in 2021. How are you going to implement it? And then how are you going to add to it? I love the idea about some sort of contest. I read a story about a pizza place that they gave away a medium pizza, but part of getting the medium pizza is they then gathered their information and ended up, they didn't just sell a medium pizza. Most families, if they have a family of 4, have to have another pizza. So they sold more pizza, and it was a very slow time they had. So it's getting creative in each of those areas. Before we wrap up here, one thing I think it's important, and you talked about this in the very outset about your habits, about, delegating and working on what really matters. And I have a lot of business owners, and we get so tied into working in the business that we don't work on the business. We've heard those terms before, but I know that's something that you really talked about outside is you delegate that work. How have you really kind of created or crafted that for yourself to work on what really matters?
This was really hard for me to do because I was doing all the wrong things, working 20 hours a day, 7 days a week for 4 years. I couldn't even, if you looked back 5, 6, 7 years ago when I was doing that, I could have told myself to do this. I wouldn't do it. But really, it took me 2 kids to figure it out. Like my first kid, I did everything wrong. I was literally assembling clubs, packing boxes, working every day with a newborn, which was insane. I had just lost my job. This was a side hustle, so I had added pressure to do anything to make it work. But when I had my second child, she's now 3.5, I just said, I'm taking 6 weeks off. I said, screw it. And I did. And in that process of setting up to take 6 weeks off, I really just got myself out of the day-to-day. And that was my test. And what do you think happened to sales in those 6 weeks?
Increased.
They went up, which I was like, okay, so I'm not that important, which is okay. So I set up the business where I have specific experts siloed in each area: email, Facebook, a 3PL for shipping, 2 guys that do customer service in-house. And they all work in their own expertise. And I just coordinate and work on things that are higher leverage, which as an entrepreneur is frustrating sometimes. So I want to work more. And it's funny, like my every day this year, that was my best day. I was golfing or on the boat fishing with my kids, which is like kind of, it feels weird to say that, but like we did 110K in a day and I wasn't working at all. Didn't even look at my phone until the end of the day just to see how we did. And that's the power of of delegating to people smarter than you. And we're now doing that same thing with the agency, where we're realizing like my bandwidth is only so much, my partner's bandwidth is only so much. So we really need people and good people to scale. And in e-com, it's just nice. I like that business model because you can kind of scale almost infinitely based on your budget of ads. Because if we ship out 10,000 products in a day, doesn't impact me. The 3PL ships more, and they like it because they get paid more. So I set it up because I wanted to, based on my kids and my life. And really, I also set it up so my costs are more variable and I have less fixed costs. So I've got very little overhead, and really all my expenses scale up and down based on volume. So if I have a good month, it's great. If I have an okay month, it's good. If I have a bad month, it's still good. So it's just one of those things where if I had all the overhead, the warehouse, all the employees, you've got more pressure to be successful every month ongoing. Whereas if it's an off-season month, that's cool. I'm going skiing. Like, I'm good with that. And we'll still do volume, but it doesn't impact my time. And that was, I mean, I've been doing this 8 years now, and it's like, that's my power is like getting out of my own way. And my partner in the agency, not to ramble, I think it's a good point. He's in the business doing all the day-to-day fulfillment with our staff. I purposely am out of it. And our meetings once a week prior, like what you do with your clients, he tells me what he's working on, and I take those pieces off of his plate and delegate them and keep delegating and delegating, because we're now at 30 plus clients. You know, we just broke, 6 figures a month with that company, 7 figures for the year. And that's the only way we're going to scale up, is we got to keep. So that's like how I do it. I'm a business coach for one guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm a good one. You probably are much better. But yeah, so that's been my superpower per se. If I have any, it's like realizing I'm not that smart, delegating, and just allowing to scale. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's a great philosophy. And I heard the philosophy before, and it's kind of interesting you said that, is if you want to take 30 days or 6 weeks off of your business, and can it still operate without you? And I think that's the key. You have to ask yourself those questions, because then you're more likely to try to answer those areas that would not be able to happen if you were not there. And great book that I read, just to have to share it, because Mike Michalowicz talked about clockwork, and really it's what putting your business in that area of allowing your business to run like clockwork, even without you. And it's so hard for business owners to see that. And I hope our business owners here, no matter if they have retail or what type of business they're in, they can put themselves in that type of position and give them more of that freedom. Because most entrepreneurs, what we want, or business owners, we want more freedom of time. We love the business, we love being in it, but we want more of that freedom of that time that we have in each one of those areas.
Yep.
Well, there's a lot of different things that I could still get out of you. May have to have you come back to share some of those others, because you gave some great nuggets, Tyler, and went a couple different ways. But I think it really helps our business owners look at themselves. What do they want that to be? And then if you're not a business owner, hopefully you're looking, what could you create? Could you create, and start small, just like you did 8-9 years ago. And sometimes it grows into something that you're really not even don't realize that's going to happen. Let's jump into the recharge round, because I have 6 questions I ask every guest, and they're kind of my framework that I talk about and speak about. So I'm kind of curious on how they affect you. The first one is all about mindset. How do you believe your mindset affects your daily living?
My mindset is really, what is the word? I just don't give up. Like, I will not take no for an answer. I know there's a better word for that, but that's really like how I look at stuff. I really say, okay, you believe that can't be done. I don't believe in limiting beliefs. Like, I just try to break through and keep going. And if I didn't have that mindset, I would have never gotten the business to where it is, being the fact that I was fired from a day job with my wife being pregnant the week before Thanksgiving. So it's just that motivation, and I operate with a sense of urgency that's almost to a fault, where it's like, I just want things to happen so quickly and always getting better and improving that I sometimes have to turn it off. You know what I mean? So that's, I don't know if that answers your question.
Nope. True entrepreneur there, where it's hard to turn off, but you got to learn how to do that.
Yep.
What do you do daily to bring energy into your life?
I spend a lot of time with my kids, which has been that's like when I try to put on different hats and like really, I turn my phone off, I lose my phone and spend time with my kids. And really, when I'm with them, I say, don't think about work, let it go. And I have hard times when I'm like really in the zone to doing that. But when I do that and I just appreciate the time I have with them because they're 6 and 3, man, I'm just so much happier. So that's really the biggest thing, is having those little moments. Although some days they drive me nuts. I do love them. And it's just those moments you have where I'm like, that was worth it. I'm glad I didn't take that call. I'm glad I canceled today. I'm glad I took, the summer off, whatever it is. That's why I do it all anyway. So why not enjoy it?
Excellent. Share the number one connection or relationship that's made the biggest impact on your life.
Oh, man, number one connection impact in my life. I don't know if I've had a singular connection. I've had like rolling networks of people that have introduced me to certain people that have gotten me to next level. So I think I couldn't just say one, but I would say probably my wife. In regards to supporting me, it would have never happened because I was fired. I was making most of the money. Times were tough, and she really stepped up and helped with our newborn and with the starting business. So if she never supported me and gave me that push, it would have never happened. So that would be the number one connection because it would have never been where we are.
Okay, excellent. How about the advice that's influenced you the most in your life?
Probably from advice. My advice always changes. Probably just from my parents in terms they've always been entrepreneurs. I don't know if there was any singular sentence or comment. My dad coached me in football growing up, and our saying was, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of fighting the dog. So I was never the biggest guy. And really, it's just I think that's been a mantra that I've seen my parents, because they owned a restaurant, a cleaning business. They worked all the time, literally 20 hours a day for years. So I think that's just something I emulated and was willing to do. I don't necessarily live that life now, but it's just that overall mindset of like, do whatever it takes. If they can do it, if I can do it, anyone can really do it,
Excellent. How about recommend a book that you like and share why you like it?
E-Myth by Michael Gerber. I just read that and I'm like rereading it, and it's one of those books where I try to take notes, and it's really so relevant with our agency because we're still stuck in it, but it's based on everything we're saying. I try to even get Bomb Tech to the next level where it's like hands off, so I don't even have to look at anything. And that book just frames it really well, and I take screenshots and send that to my partner all the time from pages.
Yeah, excellent read. How about define in one sentence or less, what legacy do you want to leave the world?
Oh, what legacy? Been thinking about this a lot. I mean, I just want I want to have more impact on people's lives in a way that can be generational for them, through whether it's my business and they're employed for a long time, whether it's my kids and they can run my company in the future. But just want to have impact on more people in a positive way.
Well, today you've definitely done that, and we can't thank you enough for joining the Charge podcast because lots of nuggets. I can't wait to go back and really review some of my notes and really be able to take that in, because some real things that for business owners and for individuals to truly think about their business. Tyler, before we go, share with them how they can reach out to you, and definitely share that because I know I've got some golfers on my podcast that love listening. So share that website and how they can reach out if they want to connect with you. Yeah.
So bombtechgolf.com is my e-commerce golf brand. Please check that out. Ecom Growers is my email marketing agency. We work with e-com brands doing 7 figures or more. And then LinkedIn, I've been really active on at Tyler Sullivan. So please connect with me, DM me there. If I can give any help, I gladly will. And hopefully this has been relevant to your audience. And I really appreciate the time.
Well, it's been wonderful. And Chargers, I hope you really take that up. We will have all those notes in chargepodcast.com. So if you're driving right now, exercising, whatever it is, you can easily go to thechargepodcast.com. We'll have the easy links that you can click on to be able to reach out to Tyler, be able to check out the Bomb Tech Golf. I'm going to be ordering one myself.
Thank you.
So I think it sounds like a great present for myself this spring to be able to have. And then maybe my golf partner, Keith, will be happy with the way I'm hitting the ball this next year. So I will definitely do a video for you and share it with you when I hit it straight, because that's my greatest challenge.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
So, Tyler, thank you for joining us again. Chargers, I hope you really realize what are the action that you want to take. If you're a business owner, what is the one thing? Maybe you need to do better in that email marketing, but decide what it is for you. Instead of just listening to the information, now decide to take action on the information. That allows us to move forward. We'll come back next week with another great guest, so please join us. Make it a great day.
This podcast is ended, but your life doesn't just stop. To continue your inspiring journey, head over to chargepodcast.com and access all the tools and resources mentioned on today's show. If you enjoyed this episode, consider sharing with somebody who may also benefit from the advice provided. That's chargepodcast.com. Until next time, charge in business and life.